I'm 43, that my career sisters, my friends that have been flight attendants, single doctors and attorneys, hospital administrators, counselors, all of a sudden, I mean, they had been wanting to be married since we were like 19. And all of a sudden, we got in our 40s and they were just ripping and getting married left and right. Like, I hadn't been in a wedding, period, in my 20s, none in my 30s. When I got my 40s, I was constantly going to Hawaii, going to Cuba, going to Paris, started going to these weddings, and my friends would be marrying these guys, and these guys would just show up, and it was just like, and I was thinking, oh, I guess this is what's supposed to happen. You get 40, and then all of the men just get their act together, and they come and marry you. Now, most of these men were about 10 years older than my friends. I'm telling you, they were showing up with rings and flowers, and they'd be going out with my friends and wearing matching outfits, and one of them wanted to go to her family reunion around Christmas dressed as Mr. and Miss Claus and the Statue of Liberty and Uncle Sam and boating and all. And I mean, they were ripping and running like, and I was like, where were these men at? So I had come up with a theory that I put out on social media that men were getting it together in their 40s, that they had ditched their lives and gotten with all these horrible women, and or they were horrible men, and then they learned their lessons, and then we were reaping the benefits of these men that had learned their child. Before we turned 50, them men was dropping dead left and right. Seriously. Heart attack, stroke, prostate cancer, colon cancer, E, D, V, D. I mean, all types of like these ailments that they were having. One was dating a guy and his teeth just started falling out of his head. One was dating a guy and he just had this curly Prince hair, and all of a sudden he just a slick bald headed. One of them was like this brilliant, intelligent dude who had been married 3 times and had all these mixed match kids. And as soon as my friend married him, his head blew up with a brain tumor. My friends been spending money. They were spending money left and right, re-outfitting their houses. Men getting their toes and legs cut off because of diabetes, right? Men that was losing their mind, stopped taking their medication, and they had to put them in these asylums and all this stuff. They were getting wheelchair ramps put in their houses, doing GoFundMe so that the men could pay for experimental medicine to keep their men alive. And these are men that hadn't been with them not even 2 years, they didn't have any children with these men. My friends are mostly single without children. And these men had all these skeletons in their closet, all these mismatched kids. And my friends, they hadn't invested nothing into my friends. They hadn't invested nothing but that love bombing courting phase. So now, y'all, I'm looking on Facebook because we're now past 40. And so now I'm looking at all the little generation in my sister's era. I'm looking at them on Facebook. Every weekend, droves of them getting married. I just never thought I'd find my Boaz. And they just getting married left and right. And I'm looking at them marrying these old bald-headed men that I know. I'm like, the only reason y'all probably been together one time because he took 15 Viagras. You look at them and you know that they're impotent, right? And they're like, well, that's okay. I just love him. And then I'm going to tell y'all what's going to happen, just like it was with my friends. They married now. Some of them going to drop deceased the week after, because that happened to some of my friends, because they already know that they're sick, which is the reason that they're running trying to marry all these little young 40-year-old women that are, that have reached the glass ceiling, that have reached the ceiling that they're in their careers, that have their education, that have all their licenses, they're vested in their companies and all this stuff. They have their homes bought. Now all of a sudden these men are showing up and now they marrying this group of 40-year-olds. Now, see, what they do is the old ones are using the young women for their body, their youth, and their beauty. They're using the young women for that, but they're marrying the women that are already set so they can rest in their femininity and use them as hospice care wives and then pass away in their big, nice 4-post bed. And then all of their grown, ugly kids will show up at these little 40-year-old women's houses, and they ain't got no kids. And they daughters that's 30 will show up and kick in their door and want to walk in her house and carry everything out like they dad had a pot to piss in or wanted to throw it out of. So I'm just looking at it and I'm just like, I wish that they would listen. Or do they think that hospice care wives, that it's the women that's in their 40s and 60s? No, sisters, it's y'all in your late 30s. Mainly if you 43 years old and a man shows up and starts wanting to marry you, he doing every dressed all up and loving your family and buying your mama flowers and all this stuff. What about you has made him just all of a sudden she's just so wonderful. I want to get with her. They're trying to use you for your benefits. They're trying to use you for your house. They're trying to use you for your kitchen table so that they can sit in your house and eat your cereal while you go work at the hospital and they go drive Uber, while they go shine shoes, while they go do detail cars. Or as one of them, he's retired from the military. Okay, retired from the military, or did he get kicked out the military? Friend got with him thinking he's getting some type of check from the military. He ain't getting shit. Moved into her house, and that's what she's dealing with. That's a younger friend. So I'm just telling y'all, like, when I see like older people getting married, when I see that now, especially when it's these sisters that's in their 40s and they marrying these old bald-headed, pot-bellied men, the men just smiling or crying while they walking down. Yeah, because you're rescuing them. They ain't got nothing. They wore out. They've expired. And then all of a sudden, they're expired milk and somebody comes up, oh, I want to drink the milk. They are a totaled car and somebody shows up and gets the car and fixes it. Oh, let me tell you what. They are a junkyard dog that's been living on the streets, and all of a sudden Cruella de Vil shows up in a big limo to take the dog in and let it live out the rest of its life in luxury. That's what you are. You're Cruella de Vil. You are the woman in the limo that's saving the dog on the side of the road. Of course the dog is happy and grateful until you don't feed it. And that's exactly what's happening with these dudes. Once they get into your house and they know that you can't just put them back out in the junkyard on the street where they belong, they're going to start acting simple. That's where they're going to turn around and try to drag you down. That's when they're going to start gutting your self-esteem. That's whenever the guy, like one guy of a 43-year-old, oh my God, when I met him, he was on a canoeing with her on a camping trip. Now, the legacy of low achievement won't even walk out to the front porch to pick up the mail. He won't do nothing now. She get ready to go to a funeral of her best friend. He won't even go to the funeral. So I'm just saying to you guys, just be careful. Your friends and the 40s, like if you're going to be with the man in your 40s, don't marry him. Just do not marry him. Just enjoy his company. There's no use in getting married. What are you marrying him for? So that you can take him to because when you get, especially them, their life expectancy is 41 years. Quality of life expectancy is like 53 actually. So why are you marrying them? So that you can take care of them and nurse them to death? There's no need to marry. You're not trying to have no kids by them, so why you want to get married? Have a ceremony, have a commitment ceremony, but do not marry them, because the only thing they're going to do is use you as a hospice care wife and then die. And leave you alone with all their bills and having to answer to their ugly kids.